Thank you so much for sharing your high noon with me. This is Wednesday at noon, and I am JB Bryan of JB Bryan Financial Group, the home of AfroEconomics and a registered investment advisory firm established in 1995. Indeed. Thank you so much for sharing your day with me. And this is Black History Month. And at Afroeconomics, I get to take it for granted because every day is Black History Day at Afroeconomics and JB Bryan Financial Group. We're committed to building wealth within our community, and it makes a stronger nation for all. The more confident, the more clarity, the more insight, the more empowerment that we have. Happy people. Happy people are people that are not stressing. Happy people are people that are not stressing about money. How's everybody going? I see you. Make sure you make a comment, make sure you chat, make sure you ask any questions that you may have. Don't hesitate to, if you see like where it has on the website where you can leave a message, which is on that side or wherever you see, like, please do that. And don't hesitate to ever call if we right after we finish or make comments now or like, but let's make sure that we communicate because the point is to trigger curiosity to help us all. Like whenever God brings a topic to me, it's a great opportunity for me to learn. I love it, right, Miss Davis? This is just an opportunity for us to learn all the way around the country, even in Stone Mountain, Georgia, that it is good to be safe, good to be celebrating Black history, good to be recognizing Black business today. And I had no idea that August actually is Black Business Month. Can't make money only in August. Every month at Afro Economics is Black Business Month. Yes, it is. How you doing, Tracy? How you doing, Miss Davis? I hope I said hi to you. I see you. Thank you. Thank you for your comment. The interaction makes such a difference. Every Friday at 9 a.m., sometimes on Saturday, because I know we have a Saturday one coming up later this month. The that we have our members, only discussions. I love it when y'all turn on your camera. Like you can't even imagine how when you're working and you're doing something and someone actually like is excited about it enough to share their face with you. So share your chat with me today. If you have a favorite Black business, Black home business that you want to make sure that you give them a shout out now, put it in there so that we can support. I received a text today and it was talking about like, this, I don't know, this movement of where not to shop. And I said, like, we put a lot of effort in different opinions about where we shouldn't shop. But today's discussion, I will name some businesses that maybe there'll be alternatives for us to shop, starting with JB Bryan Financial Group, right? But, there are, we really should be focusing more on what to do than on what not to do, like about the solution of, building independence, building businesses. So let's talk about, I'm going to start with like, well, I want to make sure that I've used as the backdrop that let's first define, especially when it comes to like publicly versus private. Let's just talk about like what a public business is versus a private business. Like a publicly traded business is a business that chooses to live under the criteria of the Securities Exchange Commission so that they can offer shares of ownership of that company to the public. Okay. So you have publicly traded companies like Apple, Amazon, they're publicly traded. So there are some successful Black owned businesses that choose to go public and some that choose to stay private. For example, my corporation is privately held by me. When it's private, everything is private, and you are not associated with the criteria of what is required for providing public information when you're publicly traded. So private, and we have, I would, yes, of course, the overwhelming majority of our businesses are privately held companies. Privately held companies, as defined by Investopedia, are not subject to SEC, Securities Exchange Commission, filing requirements. So it can be difficult to get specific information on the privately held companies. But public companies have to comply with SEC rules. And I know that one of our Black owned or majority Black owned, like it would have to have at least 51% of the public shares would have to be owned by a Black person in order for you to truly think of a public company as Black owned, because there's a whole bunch of different institutions and people once you are public. But if the Black person that started it or takes it over, no, because like Magic Johnson Foundation actually is the majority shareholder of some companies, and I did not see it listed as among the Black ownership of publicly. Well, actually, I made my own point that the majority of the businesses that his foundation is in that I can think of, they are actually privately held, huge companies, but privately held. So he's privately holding it. That's why we wouldn't know about it. But on um, some of the lists I found, like when I AI chatted and asked like the Black publicly held companies, it still listed some privately held Black companies just because it wanted to. This Wilkerson, I was like, why is it putting private? I said, what are the publicly held Black owned companies? And then it lists um, Black leadership, for example. It said Coca-Cola, symbol COKE, has Black leadership, though it is not. It's like that is not the question. So make sure that when we do Google stuff, like literally you have to look farther, and we really have to make a commitment to reading the information that is provided to us. I would say that me continuing my education, the the best benefit for it to me and my clients is that it has taught me and forced me that I have to read and I have to look for more details, and headlines are just not enough. The amount of information and things that we see, especially now with all this stuff that's going on politically, and we're only getting headlines. We have to be really careful about the headlines and the headlines impact on the Black community, because there's a lot of things that we're accepting as issues for Black people that have little to nothing to actually do with us. And then there are some things that would actually benefit us, that because we're only reading the headlines, we're not looking deeper into the issue, that could actually help the majority of our community. So it's everybody, it could help the whole world, but we're not getting past what the headline wants you to feel. Because I think that there's just so much disinformation out here and misinformation out here that is frightening, and we really don't know. So I just say it to whatever even that I share now on what are our publicly traded Black-owned businesses. The list I give you today is only what is provided available to me as of January, and the information that was gathered through the research from Investopedia as of January of 2025. So I thought that was pretty good because, like, I had, some places I had like 10, and there, and then I was like, I'm gonna have to rely on the most the most up to date one, and yes, so the that's what we have. So, according to the research, there are currently 6 Black-owned public companies in the United States: RLJ Lodging, Urban One, Broadway Financial Corp, Carver Bank Corp, Axum Therapeutics, and American Shared Hospital Services. Some Black-owned companies were previously publicly traded but are now subsidiaries of other companies. Ping Identity was bought out by another company, and Global Blood Therapeutics was acquired by Pfizer in 2022. But they bought up all of their public stock. So that reduced our list. That reduced the list, to have, approximately 6. Let's look at the some and just know that I'm listing that, but I'm not giving you investment advice like those are what I want you to buy today, or that's where I'm putting everybody in today, things like that. No, not saying that at all. This is just for educational purposes, empowerment purposes, just so we know. So let's look at everything like historically Black business. I thought this was, interesting because I asked for 10 top historical facts on Black businesses in the United States, and then the most the most interesting was number 10, present day growth. According to the internet, as of the 2020s, Black-owned businesses continue to grow with significant increase in startups and the establishment of organizations that support Black entrepreneurship, reflecting ongoing efforts for economic inclusion. When in reality, this is why I'm telling you, don't trust headlines. When in reality, the fact is that there were in 1992, there were 621,912,621, over 621,000 Black-owned businesses in the US. By 2012, that number rose to 2.6 million. Then it decreased to 1.1 million by 2020. Pre-pandemic, it's down to 1.1 already. 13 months later, that number was down to 640,000. That's just slightly higher than 1992. Now, why this quote on the internet? If you check on the status and it'll say present day, growth. What are they basing that on? I don't know. Maybe growing up from the 600, but from 1992 to today, there's a decline. I would argue that since the civil rights movement to today, there's a decline. I think that a lot of the anxiety that our community is going through because of this current administration's desire to cut their budget is because we're not in tune with how business works. So it doesn't shock me what's going on because I've seen my clients go through that in corporate America all the time. If we get it, I believe that we have been held back from having a business mindset because even as entrepreneurs, when we see that there was the government during the 1970s had a push of helping minority businesses. There was a minority business movement in the 1970s. So the government had to do or decided to do, a certain amount of businesses actually with business with contracts with Black business. And then over the years, the definition of minority wasn't really Black anymore. It was Black and it was woman and it was, a whole bunch of different things. So that's where I believe with our businesses making a habit of depending on the government for public, the government for the majority of their business. As our businesses were opening, they were basically opening to be government contractors. No. And the government said, we'll help Black businesses be contractors. And then when that went away, and it was, oh, we'll also help white women become contractors, and we'll help, Asians, and we'll help a whole bunch of people. I know that this thing was started for you, Black people, but it's not about y'all anymore. We can see in the numbers the impact that it has had on our businesses. But instead, I believe that we should have had better business leadership that encouraged us always to not depend our businesses on one significant contract. The key is diversification. And we weren't taught that from a management perspective. Now, and that's not, shared, like even now with things that are going on in private and in the government, that there should be more discussion on our learning to look at things as business opportunities. But you can't look at business opportunities if you're not thinking like a business person and you've been programmed to think like an employee. You have to start thinking like an employer in order for us to build our sustainable businesses and not just have six that are getting additional funding from the public. Because if you have a business and if you don't go public to raise the funds, then if you want to grow the business or do additional research or create additional products or do these things, then they're going to have to go, unfortunately, to the bank. And the Federal Reserve is saying they don't have any intention, and it's just being ornery on lowering interest rates, and that has hurt small businesses. The SBA loan itself can change its interest rate every 90 days. In my opinion, that's un-American. And that's something that our politicians should be looking at. Like, no, like, I mean, right now, we have an administration that's full of business owners. It should be taught about. It should be things that are being brought to their attention. Like, this is ridiculous that the rate changes every 90 days. It would help business owners if they knew exactly what their bills were going to be. The majority of bank loans aren't changing every 90 days, but an SBA loan will change every 90 days. And then you have to have all of the criteria and the amount of equity that they want to take in order to use the government for financing. It is not structured in its current position as a way to help, especially Black businesses, be able to build sustainable businesses. So you can imagine the amount of sacrifice that it has required for me to have my business, to have made it by the grace of God to 30 years old. So the let's so I wanted to look the particular challenges while I'm thinking about that, that are, that tend to be in our Black owned businesses. Um, and remember, what makes a Black owned business? What makes a business Black owned? According to the guidelines, a public company or any company Black owned, what makes it? The National Minority Supplier Development Council defines a minority business enterprise as a business that is at least 51% owned by an Asian, a Black, Hispanic, or Native American, or in the case of publicly owned business, at least 51% of the stock is owned by one or more of such individuals. And the minority business part, and then that's where the woman, I guess, the woman, the minority, so the SWAM was created somewhere in there, something like there's, y'all will know the term, but women are included in that as well. So the management and daily operations should be controlled by the more minority-owned shareholder. The National Minority Supplier Development Council further clarifies that a Black-owned business is one whose owner is a U.S. citizen of African descent, which would include African Americans and African immigrants. So so what are, according to the information, particular challenges for Black-owned businesses, and that and they see as why we might not have as many that are publicly traded. But I also think that there's things in there that are unique to us, and that most Black business owners do want to have a certain amount of privacy. And because based on past experiences, they realize the threat of you thinking this is going to help move the business forward, but actually you end up losing the business. So there has to be, um, you know, a really acute understanding of what you're doing when you decide to take the business public, because you may have that 51%, but still you're only a figurehead and have lost complete control. So I think, there is that threat there, the reality of, yeah, but if I do that, then I have to answer to people that know nothing about what your business is trying to do. And the businesses that I mentioned, I wanna before I talk about the challenges, I want to talk about like some of the publicly traded Black owned businesses like RLJ Lodging. I don't know if you all have ever heard of this, company before, but it's, the guy that came from Robert Johnson, the one that sold BET. But it's noted here that the most successful company listed here is RLJ Lodging Trust, a real estate investment trust with a portfolio consisting of 96 hotels across 23 states and the District of Columbia, founded by Robert L. Johnson and Thomas J. Baltimore in 2001 as RLJ Development. RLJ Lodging focuses on premium branded focused service and compact full service hotels to capitalize on their upside potential. Like they hold in their portfolio some Courtyard Marriott's, Residence Inn by Marriott, Hilton Garden Inn, Homewood Suites, Hilton, Embassy Suites by Hilton, Hyatt Place, and Wyndham hotels. So the next time that we're getting our lodging, especially, because I have at least, one member that tells me like every time he goes to Howard Homecoming, they stay at one of RLJ hotels. And but interesting is like I hear us talk all the time about his ex-wife's privately held, her company is private that has like it's she does like a resort. They have a resort, but that is private. But I had not really thought about that. That I wonder if she got that idea from his real estate partnership that he was doing to do that. Because I always wondered like why did she decide to do this resort? But it kind of it doesn't compete with what they're doing, and it's a different concept. But it's a different, it's definitely connected. It connected in that same, but I don't believe hers is not a real estate investment trust the way his is. Um, but interesting that connection. And in an example of privately held where her resorts are and his got on the stock exchange in 2011 is a publicly held one. Right now, I guess it is the biggest publicly traded black owned business. The And then Urban One is on there. The I wish I knew people in Urban One in management, because they're definitely on the struggle. And but it is publicly traded. I remember, when it first came out, like, and um, the stock is down dramatically from its initial public offering. The So like we have to know that once you are public, then you do have to really answer to a lot of things. And I know there was a point where it was, a public issue about, the stock basically being delisted because they had not answered to the regulators. And um, what we have to, what I encourage us to do is that me giving you that truth, you see that as empowering, and JB is telling us the truth. But unfortunately, there are some people, no matter how true what it is that I tell you, it's like a part of you just would rather not hear it. And that is the part that will keep you broke, because you cannot close your eyes and spend your money. Like that happens way too often in our community. We have to know how excellent we are as a people and be that and expect that. No, that we have to pull each other up through honest encouragement, honest encouragement, honest encouragement. No, like I said, like don't tell them, don't spend so much time on where not to spend. Let's spend more time on, where can we spend? Like with the brother with all those hotels, goodness. And we're going to hotels, we're traveling all the time. And the another on our Broadway Financial Corp. And guess where it is, Symbol BYFC. Yes, Broadway for the Federal Bank was founded in 1947 as the Broadway Federal Savings and Loan Association for a group of Los Angeles civic leaders. I remember this guy. And then they think they did a movie about this, right? I think including real estate broker H.A. Howard and dentist Dr. H. Claude Hudson. And in 2021, Broadway Federal Bank merged with City First Bank, which made it the largest Black-owned minority depository institution in the U.S. The Treasury Department has designated the bank as a community development financial institution due to its dedication to serving those who otherwise would be locked out of the financial system. That's AfroEconomics. Carver Bank Corp. No. Broadway Financial Corp. Broadway Financial Corp. But it was started in Los Angeles. And that's where the headquarters still are. Where Carver Bank Corp is in New York City, started in 1948. A year later, they could have got Broadway, but Broadway was already started. Nah, I'm sure it had nothing to do with it. But they united now. So Broadway, Carver, so Carver, CARV, is the holding company for Carver Federal, and Broadway and Federal are together. Broadway and Federal, yeah, must be together. So we shouldn't really, I guess it made the list look longer, but it's under CARV. And then Broadway, BYFC, but it merged with City First. Broadway and City First are together, but Carver, I don't even know why they made that connection, because Carver has nothing to do with Broadway. And the symbol is CARV. Yeah. And it is another federally chartered savings bank founded by a group of community leaders in 1948. So Broadway is actually bigger. It has assets of 1.4 billion. Carver has assets of 723 million. Got some. I was at this meeting, and these guys that have firms merged all the firms together, and their firms was over like $10 billion just from all of them, like putting their clients' assets together under one umbrella. And it took the merger of two Black banks to get to over $1 billion. Wow. So and even if those two merge, they'd still only be at $2 billion. Axum Therapeutics, total assets $588 million. The largest company in the healthcare sector on this list. So it'd be our biggest Black healthcare, publicly traded, a biopharmaceutical firm founded in 2012. And Dr. Harriet Tabuteau. I've heard that before. Tabuteau. Axum focuses on the development of novel therapies for managing central nervous system disorders. Products are designed to treat migraines, Alzheimer's. It symbols AXSM. And American Shared Hospital Services, 48 million. Symbol AMS. Operates within the technological side of healthcare industry by providing equipment to hospitals and medical centers. And that's it. But it's interesting we have the hospital technology side and providing the equipment and the Axum Therapeutics, like let me see between those two. 50, no, there's still the bulk of our businesses are in no that RLJ Lodging Trust at 4.9 billion. One company is bigger than the both of the banks together. Go ahead. The so but that's interesting for us to know. The in today's environment, Quentin P has a question. Let's see what the question. In today's environment, do you think it's better to get away from the phrase black owned? Who I had to drink? I had the I mean, how can you get away from the phrase black owned if it's black owned? You tell me, Quentin P, with your beautiful brown face, picture, black, you're black, you're a black man. Are you ashamed of being black? Quentin, does it harm you in some way? Is there something that happened in today's environment? Okay. It seems like the term black owned is a turnoff in the corporate and political world. What? Why? What? I mean, what's new? I mean, what made it different? It didn't because DEI has nothing to do with black owned at all. At all. Look at the budget. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. The majority of their budget was spent on something other than black people. So DEI and getting rid of DEI has, in my opinion, nothing to do with black people. It has everything to do with them not wanting to spend any more money. And it enforces red tape to prevent black businesses from growing. Saying that you're black owned enforces red tape that prevent black business. There's no way that any black white person would say what you're saying, Quentin. You realize this? That this is your own insecurity. And that you feel instead, Quentin says you should use woman-owned and veterans-owned. And that's okay. You understand that that's your own insecurity. Now, mind you, I'm not signed up for any of that stuff. I'm not signed up for minority business. I'm not signed up for, like that. I mean, I don't do business with the government. So I just pay taxes. That's what I do with the government. I support the government. That's what I do. I'm not taking nothing from the government. I thank God for the ability to pay my taxes and that the government employs people, but they have definitely not made a commitment to DEI programs actually focusing on black opportunities or black veteran opportunities or black women, black men opportunities. The problem with your approach is, Quentin, is it leaves you out. You're black. If you're a veteran, what makes you special? There's a whole bunch more. There's only 12% of this society, of this United States, is made up of black people. So you would rather leave yourself out because even if you're a veteran, why? What else? You're a black veteran. It does. I don't have to say black owned. The AfroEconomics and Black Wealth Matters. I mean, I think they would assume, but I don't know. Like, there's a whole bunch of black stuff that focuses on black people that is not black owned. And if we get ashamed of being black owned, you're in trouble. But one of my gyms that I go to, it says he has a sign up and it says black owned business, and there's a whole bunch of I think probably the majority of the people that work out there are white. It hasn't hurt his business at all. And it has right there on the sign at the coffee machine. Black owned business. I said, come with it, brother. The white people don't care. I think that most intelligent people are committed to honesty. I believe that the world will become a better place if we're honest. Like, where I mentioned one time about I went to speak at a college and they were doing like that it was like career planning placement thing, and the college was preparing kids for getting jobs, and they told them if their names sound black, don't put that name on their resume. And I said it like, I can't believe that you would say that. I was like, why in the world? Like, some people have said to me, like, oh, I know why you went by JB, because you wanted people to think it was a man. I was like, are you crazy? I'm 100% woman. Like, what in the world? I don't want people to think I'm a man. It was easy to remember. I just didn't want to have to Jennifer Bryan Financial Group. I mean, that's considerably long. That's like long. It's just natural. Nobody said that about like E.F. Hutton or J.P. Morgan or whatever. Oh, I know you wanted to be a man. Like, no, that's their name. My name, JB Bryan. That's my name. It's like the Quentin said, doesn't matter what ethnicity you are as long as you're making money and growing business. Exactly. So what's wrong with being black? I agree with that 100%. Does it matter? It doesn't matter. But to you, Quentin, it matters. So you want to get rid of being black. That's sad. But, no, it should not matter. And to the white person, the white people I know, it doesn't matter. But to you, Quentin, it matters, because that's that whole like faking your name. It's a lot. You're a liar. The Not wanting to talk using your legitimate voice. No matter where I am, this is how I speak. Like the whole shifting to be a different person. According to the research in HR magazines, it says a black person is more likely to be deceptive. Deceptive. That's how they see what we're calling like, cute little names like coding or whatever. I don't know, shifting or whatever. When you have a voice, and I saw this video documentary talking about black professionals, and the lady said, yeah, at work I talked one way, because that's the way I had to talk. Like, that is so ignorant. That is just ignorant on every level. How in the world would you disrespect your own people, your own family that way? Like, what are you saying? That when you come and you talk with black people that you think we're ignorant and you're supposed to talk to us a different way? You can see me no matter what I do. I am sincere. Now, that is a commitment, my commitment to God, to be true, to be honest. And I have absolutely no interest in dealing with racist people. And I'm not going to hide the fact that I'm black so that a racist person will be but I cannot help you, Quentin, feel better about yourself. I can't. I can't help you be more confident, because that goes way back to how you're brought up. If you're brought up that black in any form, in any society, under any political environment, is a problem, do you realize that we would still be slaves? Harriet Tubman had no problem being black, and the Quakers still let her in. And she still built the Underground Railroad. And they did it black. They didn't have to put on white masks, and they didn't have to paint themselves white. And it wasn't only just light skinned people that could get to freedom. You know what I'm saying? Black people went to freedom. And that's where you deserve to be now. Yeah, that code switching thing. That code switching thing. Yeah, and I appreciate it. I appreciate you asking that question because it's so important. Because just know that when I put Black business, I did it on purpose. When I left up that logo up there, Black Wealth Matters, I did that on purpose. I did that to help you get free of that chain around your neck. You know, I helped you. I did that to help me maintain my freedom. We don't have to be less than what we are. But until we can get completely honest about the history and the future and the history of what we built, what we contributed, and people like us, our ancestors did to build this country, you know what I mean? We're going to consistently be treated like second class citizens because you're ashamed of what you are. You can't change that. One thing we're gonna be. But they say it's always, you're gonna pay taxes and you're gonna be Black. And one thing, even if they stop and reduce taxes and stop income taxes like they say they're gonna do, we still gonna be Black. It ain't gonna change nothing. No matter how many titles, no matter how many degrees, no matter what, I'm Black. And there's nothing wrong with it. And it makes me no better, no less than anyone else. I'm Black, but Black is only 12% of this society. And if you don't think that you need to acknowledge that I am only 12% of this society and we built this country, you are a descendant of someone to be proud of. We're to be proud to be Black, to still be alive, to be of sound mind, and to be Black. I mean, that needs to be, you know what I mean? The everything, like our presidents, every administration should be proud of the accomplishments of Black people and how far we go back because we are America. We are America history. We are America's history. We started this country just like everybody else who has ancestors that go all the way back. So, my answer to is it a problem to say Black owned business? You know, only if someone asks. I don't walk around and say I'm a Black owned business, but Black owned businesses, according to the research of Investopedia, which is not Black media, there are challenges uniquely to Black owned businesses. That's what we found through research. And we know it. And we know it. It's harder for Black owned businesses to raise capital. Approximately 44% of Black owned businesses rely on cash, like I do, to fund the business, compared to only 37% of the average small business owners rely on their own cash. So when whereas they're more likely to get a commercial loan. A commercial loan allows the business owner, especially someone like that has these big real estate or things that they need or equipment needs or things that they need in order to produce it. A commercial loan becomes a bigger deal and a bigger responsibility. But getting access to loans, according to Investopedia, is not easy for Black owned firms, where 50% as likely to receive loans and other forms of credit as white persons. That means less, than half as likely to be able to get approved. At the same time, Black businesses had acquired less debt. That's a good thing. But if you need the capital, it's a bad thing. Banks were also 3 times as likely to follow up on white applicants than they were on even more qualified Black business owners. And I'm sure, Quentin, they didn't put that they were Black owned business on the application, but they still chose because they ain't gonna ask. They're not gonna ask. Unless it's some sort of special program, the application is going to say that. But based on the research, the Black owned businesses didn't even get a call back and they were more qualified. We got to get away from this. I got to put this up here, Quincy, because you poor, poor thing. You got to get away from questioning a person's Blackness just because they're asking another Black person a question about alternative methods to uplifting and growing Black businesses. But Quentin, I'm not questioning your Blackness. I question your confidence as a man, as a human being. You got that confused completely. It is not about you're Black. I mean, that's not even a question. I can't even question your Blackness. You're Black. You're not even like light skinned. You're Black. So I'm not going to question your Blackness. I was just saying that it's a lie if you think that people don't know it. So you can put down that you're a woman, or you can put down that you're a veteran, but you're also Black. So you don't have to publicize it. Like I said, like I don't publicize it, but I know the brother that does publicize it still has a lot of white customers. It doesn't hurt him. That's all I'm saying to you, is that if you think that by not saying that it's a Black owned business, and you probably don't own your own business. So, but if you think that it's going to help, then because if you don't say it, like I can't, I don't have any evidence of that. We don't have any evidence of that when the research is saying, even when they didn't say that, the banking institution just didn't follow up. They were even more qualified. It just it doesn't matter. Like the challenges are there. You can't hide from the reality of other people's issues. It has nothing to do with you. That's what you are. You're going to come in, even if you don't even tell them, you're going to walk in the door, man, and they're going to figure it out. And then, so, no, like, as it's saying here, like, we don't have a lot of mentors. It's saying that and what I want you to feel comfortable with is that you should see me as a mentor. You should see me as a person who has a business for 30 years. And maybe I know just a little bit more than you about being Black and in business. No? God didn't put me through everything I've been through in order to not help you and not to empower you. You ask me a question, and I'm supposed to just not love you and not tell you, not share my experiences that I have that could help you. It's what irritates you is you wanted me to answer it a particular way. And man, I know it's like that. But I'm telling you reality. The reality. You're just trying to figure out a way to get around something, Just focus on me. Don't put no effort in being anything that you're not, or trying to deal with I had a boss one time, and the secretary wasn't doing her job. And the white guy asked, he said, "Do you think she's doing that because you're Black?" I said, "Man, I ain't putting no effort into that. I do investments. She answers phones. Whatever type of issue she got, but I can't change." Man, you ask me about something, bro, that I can't change. That is ridiculous. I probably could have messed up that man's job. But he really literally meant that. You know what I mean? He wanted to see where my head is. I'm like, I don't care about her insecurities, whatever. Her job is that. You losing money. She ain't doing her job. Goodness gracious. Yeah. Amen. Understand how the powers that be see you, and if they want you in the game. Are white women a minority? They have the majority of contracts. Exactly. You said that. I mean, they do. And they became a minority because they're not ashamed of what they are. They're like, well, a lot less women that have contracts than men, and they stood on it. They stood on it and got it. and took that, opportunity. And a lot of them are married to white men. So all the white guy had to say was, she owns 51, I own 49%. Boom. They got it. Because what? We putting effort in trying to be ashamed when we should be putting effort in. Like I saw the other day in the newspaper, there is it's like the Jewish Chamber of Commerce got it determined by the government that they are a minority. You know what I'm saying? And it's like it's a particular, it's like the official Jew or whatever, but it's a Jewish Chamber of Commerce, and you can Google it. They said they are designated as a minority because they're not ashamed. That's what happens when you're not ashamed. You work and you get what you deserve. Mm, that it says Black-owned firms employed 1.4 million people as of the numbers for 2021 and had estimated annual payrolls of 53 billion. The most common sector of Black-owned businesses were healthcare and social assistance, covering 28% of all firms, private and public. Right? On average, Black-owned firms made 1 million in annual revenue in 2020 with an average of 9 employees. Asian-owned businesses earned 1.3, white-owned earned 2.9. Yet between 2019 and 2020, Black-owned businesses saw the strongest revenue increases, averaging 6%, while white-owned revenues fell more than 2%. Growth. So growth, that's a positive that's in there. But I just appreciate y'all. We had us a good talk today. I appreciate you, Quentin. Yes, indeed. Quentin, you need to join AfroEconomics. It'll change your whole world. Yes, indeed. You deserve it. You deserve to be surrounded by wealth development, someone that believes in you, someone that has experience, confidence, going to encourage you. That's what I want. I promise I will not always agree with you. You do not need yes people. We do not. You come with me like one of my clients I've known, she's known me forever. She told this man to call me. And the man called me, was telling me about some garbage that somebody was trying to do to him. And I said, sir, we're gonna meet. We're gonna meet. But I can't promise you that I'm gonna want you to do something. Because he's in his 80s, you know. And he was talking to someone and they just told him all this BS and all this different stuff. I said, I'm not, sometimes we need to do something. Sometimes you don't need to do something. Just come and show me what you're doing, what you got. I promise to tell you what is in your best interest. God gave me the opportunity to do this AfroEconomics program to move us away from transactional relationships with financial advisors so that we can have relationships with someone that is actually getting to know you. You deserve that. I had a client passed out. And these people called me that I'd never heard of. I've known her 30 years, known the client 30 years. People I had never heard of brought me in some paperwork saying that my client signed on some paperwork after she's already incapacitated. And I said to myself, thank you, God, that I know my clients. I know this woman. I know who matters in her life. I don't know these people, and what they're doing is illegal. And I reported it. We deserve that. We deserve that. But she could come out of that and all her money be gone if I had just let that go down. They even found a rogue notary. So they got the stuff notarized and she can't even say her own name. She can't feed herself. They trying to take everything from her. God, thank you, God. I was just thankful. I was just thankful, God. I was like thankful that I could be there for her. That I could stop this nonsense. And then we can make sure it gets done the right way. Mm. You need somebody to fight for you. I will fight for you. You take care. I am JB Bryan, President and Chief Investment Officer of JB Bryan Financial Group, a registered investment advisory firm and the home of AfroEconomics. 1-844 JB Bryan. Good to see you, LeKay. Good to see you, Snoopy D. Good to see you, Weeda. Good to see you, Mr. Jefferson. Good to see you, Quentin. Good to see you, Ms. Wilkerson, Tracy. I love it. I appreciate you all so much. You all stay strong. And everyone that, even those of y'all that didn't say a chat, I love you back. I appreciate you walking. I see watching and walking. Don't get me started on the health thing. But we got to do a health one soon. Yeah, I'm thinking March. I'm thinking that's how we're going to celebrate my birthday. We're going to talk about health and wealth. Stay healthy for me, y'all. Stay healthy for me, y'all. God bless you. You deserve it. You deserve it.